So, okay, let's move on to Japan and Australia, two other places we haven't talked much about. How are they going to fit into this equation? Where's the kind of downside and upside with these two as well?
Well, pretty bullish on both of those, at least in the midterm, next 10, 20 years. Australia is probably going to replicate its success of the last 30 years just working with Southeast Asia rather than China. They're not as debt driven. It's a much healthier growth profile and honestly has a lot longer to run because the demographics are better. So it might not be the breakneck growth they've seen since the 80s, but it's still going to be a really good story. There's probably needs to be an adjustment, but here and there, we probably do need to have that recession. And oh my God, their housing market's a nightmare. And the sooner that is adjusted, the better. But that is going to knock easily 10% off of the headline GDP when it happens, and that'll be rough. But on the other side of this, it's a pretty good story. Japan is unique. They're the original story of demographic decay. But unlike everyone else who's been ignoring it, they've been working on it in bits and pieces since the 80s. So they found ways to keep people in the workforce longer. They found ways to encourage younger families to have children. And so while they're still old and they're still aging, they're no longer the fastest aging society in the world. There's 15 countries that are aging faster, ranging from Spain to Germany to Italy to Belgium to Thailand to Taiwan, China, of course, and Korea. So other countries are going to get to demographic dissolution due to old age before they do. In addition, they've also altered their economic structure in a way that I don't think China can. They've offshored most of their industrial production to third countries that have healthier demographic stories. So in many ways, that is part of the story of the renaissance of the American South, where companies like Toyota have basically gone into places like Kentucky and North Carolina and built massive production facilities in order to get on the right side of the tariff threat. They've not just done that in the United States, they've done that in Mexico, they've done that in Southeast Asia, and it's working pretty well. So you do the design and specific component manufacture in Japan, but most of the work is done somewhere else.
So if we see all of these struggles, these global struggles, and there seem to be very few options as this thing either accelerates downwards or glides in that path,